The deep space patrol vessel Harmony's Edge moved slowly through the dark between stars. Commander Vexhai sat in his command chair, watching the endless black of space through the main screen. His blue skin showed the tired lines of someone who had been on patrol for too long. The Zephyrian ship was small but fast. It had been looking for signs of the old precursor wars for 3 months now. Ancient metal and broken ships were valuable to the Confederation. They could learn from the old technology. Lieutenant Krisha called out from her station. Her voice was excited. "Commander, I'm reading something strange near the Kepler Nebula." "It is big, very big." Vexhai's long ears moved forward. In all his years of space travel, he had never heard Krisha sound like this. "What kind of reading?" "Energy patterns I have never seen before. The computer cannot match them to any known ship design. It is just sitting there in the nebula's edge." The commander stood up and walked to her station. The screen showed numbers that made no sense. The energy readings were massive but strange. Not like Zephyrian technology. Not like any of the other races they knew either. "Could it be precursor?" asked the young officer at the navigation station. Vexhai shook his head. "The precursors have been gone for 1,000 years. Their ships are all broken now. This is something else." He looked at the readings again. Whatever was out there was huge. Much bigger than their patrol ship. Maybe even bigger than a Confederation battleship. But it was not moving. "Set course for the contact," he ordered. "But keep our distance. If this is some kind of trap, I want room to run." The Harmony's Edge turned toward the nebula. As they got closer, their sensors got better readings. The ship was massive. It looked like a giant metal triangle with sharp edges. Nothing like the smooth curves of Zephyrian ships. "Commander," Krisha said, her voice getting quieter, "I think it is still active. The power readings are very low, but they are there. Like it is sleeping." Vexhai felt his skin go cold. A sleeping ship this big could mean anything. Maybe it was damaged and drifting. Maybe it was waiting. Either way, they had to know what it was. "Send the standard first contact message," he said. "All languages. Let them know we come in peace." The communications officer sent the message. They waited. Space was quiet except for the soft hum of their ship's engines. Minutes passed. Then more minutes. Suddenly, the alien ship came alive. Lights appeared along its hull like angry eyes opening. The energy readings jumped so fast that Krisha's instruments started making warning sounds. The massive ship began to turn toward them. "It is powering weapons," shouted the tactical officer. "Energy patterns are spiking across the hull." But these were not weapons like anything they knew. Instead of the smooth energy builds of plasma cannons or particle beams, these readings were rough and angry, like controlled explosions waiting to happen. "What kind of weapons are those?" Vexhai asked. "I do not know, Commander." "The energy patterns are all wrong. It is like they are using chemical reactions instead of proper energy weapons." Vexhai had never heard of chemical weapons in space. What kind of beings would use such primitive technology? And why did it feel so dangerous? The alien ship finished turning toward them. Now they could see it properly. It was not just big. It was enormous. The hull was dark gray metal covered in strange marks and symbols. Big tubes stuck out from different parts of the ship. Some looked like weapons. Others looked like things he could not understand. "Commander," the communications officer called out. "I am getting a signal from them. It is not like our normal transmission methods. Very basic radio waves, Vexhai thought. That was ancient technology, like something from the early space age. Why would an advanced species use such old methods? "Can you understand it?" "Working on it, sir. The universal translator is trying to find patterns." The officer worked at his station for a few moments. "Got something, Commander. It says, 'Unknown vessel, identify yourself.' You have entered a restricted area." Vexhai blinked. Restricted area? There were no charts showing any restricted areas in this region. The Zephyrian Confederation had mapped this space decades ago. It was empty. "Send a reply," he ordered. "Tell them we are a peaceful exploration vessel of the Zephyrian Confederation. We mean no harm," the message was sent. Again they waited. The alien ship's weapon systems stayed active. Vexhai could feel the tension on his bridge. His crew had never seen anything like this. The reply came faster this time. "Zephyrian Confederation is unknown to us. State your intentions and withdraw to a safe distance." Unknown to them? That was impossible. The Confederation had been exploring this part of space for over a century. Every major species knew about them. "Sir," Krisha said quietly, I am detecting more energy signatures. Multiple contacts approaching from deeper in the nebula. Vexhai felt his blood turn to ice. More ships? How many of these massive vessels were hidden in the nebula? How many? He asked. At least 5. Maybe more. They are big, Commander. All of them. Vexhai made his decision. Send a message to Confederation Command. Tell them we have made contact with an unknown species. Large warships. Possibly hostile. Then get us out of here. Yes, sir. Message sent. Setting course away from contact. As the Harmony's edge began to turn away, the alien ship sent one more message. This time the voice sounded different. Calmer but somehow more frightening. Attention Zephyrian vessel. This is Captain Sarah Chen of the United Earthship Indomitable. You have made first contact with humanity. We suggest you keep your distance until we can establish proper diplomatic contact. We have been asleep for a long time and we are not sure what has changed in the galaxy. Humanity. Earth. These were words the translator had never heard before. As their ship jumped to faster than light speed, Vexahai wondered what kind of beings they had just met, and why the name Indomitable sounded so much like a promise of war. Captain Sarah Chen opened her eyes to the soft blue light of the cryogenic bay. The cold sleep had lasted 200 years, but it felt like only moments had passed. Around her, other pods were opening with soft hissing sounds as her crew began to wake up. Status report, she said, her voice still rough from the long sleep. The ship's AI voice filled the chamber. Captain Chen, we have arrived at the target system. All crew members are healthy. However, we have detected an unknown vessel nearby. Sarah sat up in her pod and reached for her uniform. The USS Indomitable had been humanity's first deep space colony ship, but it was also a warship. Earth had learned long ago that space could be dangerous. Show me, she ordered. A holographic display appeared in front of her. The alien ship was small and elegant. It had smooth curves and looked very advanced. Nothing like human ships, which were built for war as much as exploration. Have they tried to communicate? Sarah asked as she pulled on her boots. Yes, Captain. They sent what appears to be a first contact message. Multiple languages, all peaceful, Sarah smiled. After 2 centuries of travel, they had finally found other intelligent life. Good, send a response. Tell them we come in peace, a message sent, Captain. Sarah made her way to the bridge. The Indomitable was massive compared to the alien vessel. Over 2 kilometers long and built like a floating fortress. Thick armor plating covered the hull. Missile tubes and railgun batteries were mounted along the sides. It looked exactly like what it was. A ship built by a species that had learned to fight. On the bridge, her officers were taking their positions. Commander Jackson looked up from the tactical station. Captain, the alien vessel is scanning us. Their scans are very advanced, but they seem confused by our design. Confused how? They keep scanning our armor plating, like they cannot understand why we have it. Their own ship has energy shields, but no physical armor. Sarah nodded. Energy shields were nice, but armor had saved human ships many times. Any word from Earth Command? Nothing, Captain. We are still too far away. It will be months before any message reaches Earth. Then we follow first contact protocols. Peaceful but careful. The communications officer called out. Captain, receiving a message from the alien vessel. They are asking us to identify ourselves. Send our standard greeting. Tell them we are explorers from Earth. But something went wrong with the translation. The alien ship suddenly moved away from them very fast. Its energy reading spiked like it was preparing for battle. Sir, they are powering weapons, Jackson shouted. Sarah felt her stomach drop. This was not how first contact was supposed to go. Raise shields. Power defensive systems only. Do not target them yet. Aye, Captain. Shields up. The alien ship fired first. Bright blue energy beams lanced out toward the Indomitable. Sarah watched on the main screen as the beams hit their shields. Nothing happened. Report, Sarah called out. No damage, Captain. Their weapons cannot penetrate our shields. The alien ship fired again. This time with more weapons. More blue beams hit the Indomitable. The shields absorbed the energy without even flickering. Captain, the science officer said, sounding puzzled. Their weapons are very advanced energy weapons, but they are designed to fight other energy-based technology. Our shields work differently. Sarah understood. Human shield technology was based on magnetic fields and particle deflection. It was designed to stop the kinetic weapons that humans used against each other. These aliens had never fought anything like that. Try to communicate again, she ordered. Tell them we do not want to fight. But the alien ship kept firing. More energy beams. then missiles that exploded harmlessly against the shields. They seemed to be getting more desperate. "Captain," Jackson said, "I am reading more contacts. A fleet is approaching. How many?" 12 ships, all similar to the first one. Sarah made her decision. She could not let them think humanity was weak. "Target their weapon systems only. Minimum force, fire." The Indomitables' railguns fired. Not the big ones, just the point defense weapons. Solid metal slugs moving at incredible speed. The alien ship's shields tried to stop them. Energy fields sparked and flared. But the metal slugs punched right through like the shields were not even there. 2 of the alien weapon systems exploded. The ship spun away, clearly damaged. "My God," whispered the science officer. "Their shields cannot stop kinetic weapons at all." The alien ship was retreating now. Fast. The approaching fleet stopped their advance and began to spread out in what looked like a defensive formation. "Captain, we are receiving a transmission from the fleet," the communications officer said. "Put it through." A new voice came through the speakers. It sounded older and more careful than the first ship. "Unknown vessel. This is Admiral Kethavar of the Zephyrian Third Fleet. You have attacked one of our ships. Explain your actions." Sarah thought carefully before answering. "Admiral, this is Captain Sarah Chen of the United Earth ship Indomitable. Your ship fired on us first. We responded with minimum force in self-defense. We do not wish to fight, but we will defend ourselves." There was a long pause. Then the Admiral's voice came back, sounding confused. "Earth? We have no records of any species called humans. And your weapons. They are unlike anything we have seen." "We are new to this region of space," Sarah replied. "We come in peace, but we will not be attacked without defending ourselves." Another pause. "This one longer," Captain Chen, the Admiral said finally. "We propose a meeting. 1 ship from each side. No weapons active. There has been a misunderstanding here." Sarah looked around her bridge. Her officers waited for her decision. They were outnumbered 12 to 1. But the aliens' weapons could not hurt them, and their own weapons could destroy the alien fleet easily. "Agreed, Admiral. But keep your distance. We humans have a saying. We speak softly, but we carry a big stick." The translation seemed to confuse the Admiral. "Big stick?" Sarah smiled grimly. "You will understand soon enough." Admiral Kethavar stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Stellar Wind. His long fingers tapped against his command chair as he studied the human vessel on the main screen. Nothing about it made sense. "Admiral," his science officer said, "I have completed the analysis of their weapon impact. The projectiles were solid metal moving at 20% of light speed. No energy component at all." "Solid metal?" Kethavar asked. "Like bullets from primitive planets?" "Yes, sir. But moving faster than anything we have ever recorded. Our shields are designed to stop energy weapons and plasma. They cannot handle kinetic impacts at these speeds." The Admiral looked at his tactical display. 12 Zephyrian ships against 1 human vessel. On paper, it should be an easy victory. In reality, that 1 ship could probably destroy his entire fleet. "Admiral," the communications officer called out, "the human ship is sending another message." "Put it through." Captain Chen's voice filled the bridge. "Admiral Kethavar, we are willing to talk. But my ship has detected your fleet movements. If you are planning an attack, I should tell you something about humans." "What is that, Captain?" "We do not surrender ever, and we do not run from a fight. If you attack us, we will keep fighting until either you are gone or we are dead." The Admiral felt a chill run down his spine. In all his years of military service, he had never heard anyone speak like that. The Zephyrians were logical. When a battle was lost, you retreated to fight another day. This human talked about fighting to the death like it was normal. "Captain Chen," he replied carefully, "we do not wish to fight, but you must understand you attacked one of our ships. After your ship attacked us first, we were defending ourselves. That is what humans do." The Admiral looked at his officers. They all looked as confused as he felt. "Captain, our ships are designed for peace. We explore and trade. We do not understand this talk of fighting to the death." There was a pause. When Captain Chen spoke again, her voice was softer. "Admiral, what do you do when someone threatens your family?" We call for help. Contact the authorities." "And if no help is coming?" Kethavar thought about it. "In Zephyrian society, there was always help. Always authorities. Always someone to call. I do not know." "Humans fight," Captain Chen said simply. "We have always fought. For our families, for our beliefs, for our survival. It is what we are, suddenly the tactical officer called out. Admiral, the human ship is launching small craft. Kethvar looked at his screens. Small fighters were pouring out of the human ship. Dozens of them. They moved in tight formations like hunting packs. Are they attacking? He asked. No, sir. They are forming a defensive screen around their mothership. The Admiral watched the fighters move. They flew in patterns he had never seen before. Not the careful, planned formations of Zephyrian pilots. These humans flew like they were thinking together, like a single mind controlling many bodies. Sir, the science officer said, the human fighters are scanning us, but they are also doing something else. They are communicating with each other constantly. Very fast signals. What kind of communications? I think they are sharing everything they see. Each fighter knows what all the others know. In real time, Kethvar had never heard of such a thing. Zephyrian pilots flew alone, making their own decisions. These humans were fighting as one creature with many eyes. Admiral, Captain Chen's voice came through the speakers again. I want to show you something. Watch your long-range sensors. The Admiral looked at his displays. One of the human fighters had broken away from the group. It was flying straight toward an asteroid field nearby. What is it doing? He asked his tactical officer. Unknown, sir. It appears to be... Oh no. The fighter flew straight into a large asteroid. The explosion lit up space like a small star. When the light faded, the asteroid was gone. Completely vaporized. Did the pilot die? Kethvar asked, horrified. Captain Chen's voice was calm. There was no pilot. That was a drone. But if there had been a pilot, he would have done the same thing if ordered. Humans will sacrifice themselves to complete the mission. The Admiral stared at the empty space where the asteroid had been. The explosion had been powerful enough to destroy a battleship. And the humans had just used it as a demonstration. Why did you show us this? He asked. Because I want you to understand what you are dealing with. Humans do not fight fair. We fight to win. If you try to attack my ship, my fighters will ram your vessels at full speed. They will turn themselves into missiles, and they will keep doing it until you are all dead or you surrender. Kethvar looked around his bridge. His officers all looked sick. The idea of deliberately crashing into an enemy ship was insane. It went against every principle of civilized warfare. But why? He asked. Why would anyone choose to die? Because sometimes the mission is more important than the individual. Sometimes you have to sacrifice yourself so that others can live. It is what humans do. The Admiral realized he was looking at something completely new, not just another species, but a completely different way of thinking about war and survival. These humans were not just technologically different. They were mentally different. Captain Chen, he said slowly. I think we need to talk. The meeting took place on a small space station between the two fleets. Captain Sarah Chen sat across from Admiral Kethvar in a neutral chamber. The Admiral looked nervous. His blue skin was pale and his long ears kept twitching. Captain Chen, the Admiral began, our scientists have been studying the data from our encounter. Your weapons, your tactics, your ship design, none of it follows the normal patterns of warfare. Sarah nodded. That is because humans are not normal, Admiral. At least not by your standards. Can you explain? We are trying to understand. Sarah leaned back in her chair. Admiral, tell me about your homeworld. What kind of planet do your people come from? Kethvar looked confused by the question. Zephyria is a peaceful world. Green continents, blue oceans. We evolved from creatures that lived in large herds. Safety in numbers. When predators came, we would group together and call for help from the adults. Ah, Sarah said. Prey animals. Prey animals? The Admiral looked offended. Not an insult, Admiral. Just biology. Your species evolved as prey. You learned to survive by grouping together and avoiding fights. That is why your technology focuses on shields and speed. Your instinct is to protect and escape. Kethvar thought about this. And humans? Sarah smiled, but it was not a friendly smile. Humans evolved as predators, Admiral. We come from a world where everything was trying to kill us. So we learned to kill first. Your homeworld was dangerous? Earth is a death world, Admiral. Giant predators, poisonous plants, extreme weather, ice ages, volcanic explosions, asteroid impacts. For millions of years, humans have been dying and fighting to survive. The Admiral's skin went even paler. How did your species survive? By becoming the most dangerous thing on our planet. We learned to hunt in packs. We learned to use tools as weapons. We learned to never give up no matter how bad things got. Sarah activated a holographic display. Images of Earth appeared in the air between them. forests full of massive predators, volcanoes erupting, storms that could level cities. This is where humans come from, Admiral. Every day was a fight to survive, and the humans who lived were the ones who fought the hardest. The Admiral stared at the images. No wonder your ship is built like a weapon. All human ships are built like weapons, Admiral, because we expect to fight. It is what we do. Sarah changed the display. Now it showed human history, wars, battles, conflicts that lasted for centuries. Even after we became civilized, we kept fighting. We fought each other for resources, for territory, for ideas. We got very good at war. But you also explored space, the Admiral said. You must want peace, and we do want peace, Admiral. But we have learned that sometimes you have to fight for peace. Sometimes the only way to stop a bully is to punch him in the face. The Admiral was quiet for a long moment. Captain, there are things you should know about this galaxy. The Zephyrian Confederation is just one of many species. Most of us are peaceful. We trade, we explore, we share knowledge. And the ones who are not peaceful? There are some species that are more aggressive. The Korthak Empire, for example. They believe in conquering other species, but even they follow certain rules of war. Sarah raised an eyebrow. Rules of war? Yes, no attacking civilian targets. No fighting to the death. When a battle is lost, you surrender and negotiate. Humans do not surrender, Admiral. But why not? If the battle is lost, why continue to die? Sarah thought about how to explain it. Admiral, what is the most important thing to your people? Survival. The continuation of our species. For humans, it is freedom. We would rather die free than live as slaves. The Admiral looked confused again. But if you are dead, you have no freedom at all. But our children might be free. And their children. Sometimes you have to sacrifice yourself so that future generations can be free. Sarah activated another display. This one showed the human colony ship spreading out from Earth. The Indomitable is not the only human ship, Admiral. We sent dozens of colony ships in all directions. Some of them have probably been traveling for hundreds of years by now. The Admiral's eyes went wide. Dozens of ships? All like yours? All like mine. All carrying humans who think like me. All armed for war. And they are all looking for new worlds to colonize. Yes, but not to conquer, Admiral. To build homes. To raise families. To live in peace. Sarah's voice got harder. But if someone tries to stop us from building those homes, they will learn what humans do to people who threaten their families. The Admiral was quiet for a very long time. Finally, he spoke. Captain Chen, I think I need to speak with my government. This changes everything. What changes, Admiral? We thought we were the most advanced species in this part of space. We thought we understood war and peace. But you humans, you are something completely new. Sarah nodded. We usually are. 3 months later, the great dome of the Galactic Council chambers had never seen anything like this. Representatives from dozens of species sat in their floating seats, all staring at the humans who stood in the center of the chamber. Captain Sarah Chen stood next to Admiral Kethvar. Both of them waited as Chancellor Mordak, the head of the council, read from the official documents. The Galactic Council has reviewed the evidence presented by the Zephyrian Confederation, the Chancellor announced. We have studied the recordings of the human vessel's capabilities. We have listened to testimony about human culture and military doctrine. The chamber was completely silent. This was the first time in 500 years that a new species had been invited to join the council, and this was definitely the first time that species had arrived in a warship. Captain Chen, the Chancellor continued, your species is unique in this galaxy. In all our records, we have never encountered a species that evolved as apex predators. This gives humans capabilities that we frankly do not understand. Sarah stepped forward. Chancellor, we know we are different. We did not come here to conquer or to threaten anyone. We came to explore and to find new homes for our people. And yet your ship is more powerful than our entire defense fleet, said Representative Thixon from the Korthak Empire. His voice was angry. How do we know you will not use that power against us? Sarah turned to face the Korthak representative. She had read about his species. They were the most aggressive in the council, but even they followed the galactic rules of war. Representative Thixon, let me ask you a question. What does your empire do when someone attacks your territory? We defend it, of course. And if the attacker is stronger than you? We negotiate. We find a compromise. Humans do not negotiate with bullies, Sarah said simply. If you attack us, we fight back. If you attack our friends, we fight back. If you attack innocent people, we fight back. But what if fighting back means everyone dies? Then everyone dies. But the bully learns that humans will never submit. A shocked silence filled the chamber. The idea of choosing death over compromise was completely alien to most of the species present. Admiral Kethvar stepped forward. Chancellor, if I may speak, in the 3 months since we encountered the humans, we have learned something important. They do not want to conquer us. They want to protect us. Explain, the Chancellor said. Humans have a word, guardian. It means someone who protects others, even if it costs them everything. Captain Chen has offered to share human military technology with us, not to make us more aggressive, but to help us defend ourselves better. Representative Vashiti from the Peaceful Healer caste spoke up. But Captain, your weapons are so destructive. They could destroy entire planets, Sarah nodded. Yes, they could. That is why we will never give them to aggressors. But if someone attacks you, if someone tries to hurt your people, humans will stand with you. Why? Asked the Chancellor. What do you gain from protecting others? Sarah thought about her answer. On Earth we have a saying, evil triumphs when good people do nothing. Humans cannot watch innocent people suffer and do nothing. It is not who we are. But the risk. There is always risk in doing the right thing, Chancellor. But humans learned long ago that some things are worth dying for. The Chancellor looked around the chamber. He could see the fear in some faces, hope in others, confusion in most. Captain Chen, he said finally, if we invite humanity to join the Galactic Council, what role would your species play? Sarah smiled. We would be the guardians, Chancellor, the ones who stand between the peaceful species and those who would harm them. We would be the shield that protects the weak and the sword that punishes the wicked. And if we refuse your membership, then we will continue to explore space and build colonies. But we will not ignore injustice when we see it. Humans cannot stand by and watch evil happen. The Chancellor called for a vote. One by one, the representatives of the peaceful species voted yes. Even some of the more aggressive species voted in favor. They understood that having humans as allies was better than having them as enemies. The motion passes, the Chancellor announced. Humanity is invited to join the Galactic Council as a protector species. 6 months later, the first human defense station was completed near the peaceful healer worlds. It was massive, bristling with weapons that could destroy entire fleets, but it also had medical bays, schools, and gardens. Captain Chen, now Admiral Chen, stood on the observation deck watching children from a dozen different species playing together. In the station's central park, human children ran alongside young Zephyrians, healers, and even a few young Korthak. Admiral Kethvar joined her at the window. Do you think it will work? He asked. This alliance between predators and prey? Sarah watched a human child help a fallen Zephyrian youngster to his feet. I think we will learn from each other, Admiral. You will teach us about peace and cooperation. We will teach you about courage and standing up for what is right. And if someone threatens this peace, Sarah's reflection in the window showed her smile, but it was the smile of a predator protecting her pack. Then they will learn why humans do not retreat, do not surrender, and never stop fighting for the people they care about. In the deep space beyond the station, human patrol ships moved silently through the darkness. Their crews were ready to fight, ready to die, ready to do whatever it took to protect the peaceful worlds behind them. For the first time in galactic history, the predators and the prey were working together, and the galaxy was about to become a much safer place.